My name is Brandon and welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you like what you see in here, you're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button so you stay notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, let's get straight on with today's video. Hey everyone and welcome back to Is That More Brandon. So in today's episode, I'm going to be doing a review for the 26th episode of Love Island. Now I know we're getting very close to Casa Amor, but we haven't actually reached it yet. So at the beginning of Friday's episode, we obviously found out that Casey asked whether they were impressed with the boys from yesterday, because obviously they did all their cooking. And Olivia said that she actually had to send her meal back because obviously it wasn't cooked enough, and Sammy said that her meat was hard. Casey explained that he had his first kiss outside of a challenge with new girl Claudia, and also got a kiss in bed. And Claudia said that obviously the situation with Casey is so fresh, it's still early days, but she's kind of liking where they're going so far. Obviously with the boys again, Tom said that him and Sammy are starting to actually now like each other a little bit more, and Sammy said to the girls that they both seem to be happy in terms of where they're going, and Lana said to the girls that the food was bang average but everything else was great. So it's good to see her on good terms with Ron again. Ron said to Kai, I can actually see myself falling for you, and he said that last night was the perfect time to talk to her. Shaq said to Ron that Shaq obviously used to be quite close with him, and obviously now the two of them are growing apart. So I think here, obviously after that little dramatic telling off the night before, they obviously just needed to have a quick boys chat, and Ron basically said that he felt like the reason they were becoming distant was because of the Casey situation, and he basically felt like because the boys had only known Casey for a few days, how are they already getting closer to him and kind of distancing themselves from Ron. And he also said he felt like that everyone was taking Casey's side when he was one of the originals to come in. And Shaq basically said that the most important thing was obviously Lana being happy. So the way he treated Lana wasn't great, and yeah, the way he went about the whole Casey situation wasn't great, but the most important thing to Shaq and the boys was to make sure that she was happy. Shaq then actually went over to talk to Lana and Tanya. So I think that they were actually still talking about this same topic, and Tanya basically said to Shaq that when he was telling Ron to come to the kitchen the first time, it was fine. And obviously the second time, it kind of was a little bit rude. And Shaq basically said to the two girls that it felt like everyone else was washing up and he was just sitting there having a chat, with Lana saying it didn't look like it was anything to actually do with the kitchen. Maybe it was nothing to do with the washing. And Tanya said it was actually quite embarrassing for him, for Ron, and to not talk to him as if he's like a little boy. So that happened, and then obviously Lana left, and it was just Shaq and Tanya left. And Shaq said that he felt double teamed, and with Tanya saying, but hang on, you're not being double teamed because Lana was literally there sitting next to me, so we both experienced the same thing. It's just that obviously you're not in a couple with her, you're in a couple with me. And yeah, I think he basically kept saying to Tanya, and I think he said it to some of the boys later, that he felt like Lana and Tanya having a chat with him made it seem like he was a child. So he's kind of using the same excuse that they've used against him for the Ron situation as to how he feels like he's now been treated like a baby. So yeah, a little bit strange, but we'll get to that in a moment. And yeah, the girls got a text saying that they were off to gossip and obviously have a lovely cocktail, so they were able to leave the villa at hashtag no boys allowed. So Will obviously said, what do we do now? Obviously no girls. Tanya did a cheers to obviously having girly time, wanting men and not needing men. And Lana said that she feels like this is what they needed, a little bit of time away from the boys. They obviously asked Ellie about her situation. They actually went through one at a time, all the different girls, and Ellie said that Jordan is a lovely boy, but there's something there that's not clicking, and for her it seems to be one person after the other that they seem nice, but there's just nothing there. And she actually wanted to be around the girls because of that situation. Olivia said that normally when she gets to this stage with a boy, that's when she'll run away, but obviously her and Kai are on good terms for now. Lana said that her and Ron have to go through hurdles to get through to the other side, and said to Olivia and the rest of the girls that he is going to basically prove all of the girls wrong, that he is now loyal. Sammy is comfortable with Tom. They're both comfortable with each other, and Tanya said that they're obviously going to have some good looking babies. Claudia had her first kiss with Casey, and Tanya is obviously still learning about Shaq, because obviously first impression is usually the best impression you want to give, but obviously now once she's dived into the layers of him, or just generally once you dive into the layers of anyone, you actually get to see every single side of them. So she said there are some things that she doesn't like. It's nothing that's going to give her the ick as of yet, but I feel like if it keeps going, she's going to kind of get turned away elsewhere. Tom and Kai had a quick chat, and they basically both said that neither of their heads could turn, because obviously they were both kind of solidified with the couple that they were with. Casey joined the conversation, and said that although he's only known Claudia for 2 days, he's not saying that his head won't turn, because obviously in this place anything can happen. Shaq spoke to Will about the Ron situation, and Will basically said that his morals are good, and Shaq basically said bringing someone into the conversation to tell him off made him feel like he was a child. So this is where he's used the exact same excuse that Tanya has used to describe his actions to Ron about treating Ron like a kid. They treated Shaq like a kid. So yeah, there's a lot of childish vibes going on here. And then obviously in terms of Lana, she said that things were a lot stronger at the minute between her and Ron. Tanya said that obviously there seems to be a bit of Ron versus Shaq situation. They're constantly going for Ron. And Tanya said that Shaq is very straightforward, but he seems to do it a lot. And that could potentially, like I said, give her the ick. And Jessie said that she's glad that the girls are sticking together. It doesn't really matter what the boys are doing. The girls are obviously quite strong. Kai actually says to Ron he was missing the girls. Casey and Claudia had a quick chat, and Claudia basically said that Tanya was speaking about the Shaq situation. Olivia said that the dynamic with the girls was really, really good. And Tanya said to Shaq that it was nice to have some time away from the boys, and then there was just a bit of an awkward pause. So yeah, I think they're obviously going to discuss that at some point, and I think they actually did in this episode. Again, I think it's just a bit of a childish thing of he's asked Ron to help with the plays. Ron said there's enough people. He's asked a second time and then got angry about it. If someone doesn't want to help, that's fine. If someone does want to help, also that's fine. So I think they're making a big thing basically out of nothing. The rain before the storm, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the thing of this is just something silly and little that's happened, but there's going to be something massive that happens, i.e. Casa Amor, or dumpings, or recouplings, or double dumpings, or whatever. I think it was Sammy or Lana who basically said to Ellie, are you excited to be back? And she said no. And Tanya said that she's going to go and speak to her man and try and nip this situation in the bud, because obviously the longer she leaves it, it's just going to get awkward. Ron and Lana had a quick chat, and Ron said he didn't really feel like he needed to have a day with the boys, and then obviously the vibes are quite different. Claudia was getting on with Casey, and obviously that's allowing Casey to be a little bit more understanding with the situation, so they're not friendly, but he's a little bit less awkward. Yeah, he also told Lana that him and Shaq had a quick chat and they were open about the situation. Shaq and Tanya then had a quick chat, and Shaq basically said that he felt like he was being cornered, with Tanya saying no, nobody was cornered. And she said, if I had to handle the situation again, I would do the exact same thing. He was saying like, don't do this, don't talk to me like this, don't whatever. She kind of used that against him and said, look, these sorts of things that you're saying remind me of things that my ex used to do. And he was like, I don't want to be compared to your ex, and that kind of thing. But obviously, yeah, it felt a little bit awkward between the two of them, but I think they're both kind of in the right and in the wrong. Obviously Shaq's in the wrong. Someone says no, accept their no, but he's also in the right because all the boys should have help. Tanya's in the right because obviously, yeah, it's going to make you feel a bit awkward if your man is kind of having weird childish conversations with someone else. But at the same time, she's kind of in the wrong because, yeah, like I said, the boys should have all been working together. So there's kind of pros and cons of whether Ron was to help or not to help, and whether Shaq was to or was to not get involved in that situation. So yeah, it just happened that it was bad on Tanya's part. And then Shaq again had a quick chat with Will, basically updating him on the situation he's just had with Tanya. Shaq told him that he told Tanya about how he felt about the situation and the fact that she kind of compared him to one of her exes. He said that the comment rattled him, and he basically said that he knows that he's stubborn, but he didn't realise Tanya was even more stubborn. And Will said that that's why both of them get on so well. Tanya said to some of the girls, so I think it was Jessie, Claudia, Sammy, Ellie, that obviously Shaq was wrong and it was kind of his ego taking over. Claudia said that he shouldn't have done what he did in that situation. Ellie said that's kind of the start of seeing red flags, and Sammy said that you do obviously want to make it work, and he obviously wants to make it work, otherwise he would have walked away from that conversation. Again, Shaq and Tanya had a quick chat, and Tanya basically said that things like this are going to affect us because I like you that much. So the fact that she's calling him out on it, it's not that she's calling him out on it just because she wants to, it's she's calling him out on it because it's things that she doesn't like, or things that he can learn from, or things that he can basically not do again because it will potentially cause an ick for her. Jessie got a text, and we found out that obviously one of the couples were obviously going to be dumped at the end of this episode. So obviously we found out that the public had been voting, and the three couples with the three fewest amount of votes were Tom and Sammy, Jordan and Ellie, Kai and Olivia. So at the fire pit, I could hear Tom whispering to Sammy saying, "It will be fine, I've got you." And she said, "Yeah, I know, I'm not worried," or something like that. And like I said, we saw all three couples, and it was revealed that the next two to be dumped from the villa were Jordan and Ellie. So I kind of knew that was going to happen because you couldn't really get rid of Tom and Kai at this point because they'd both kind of solidified something with someone else. But with Jordan and Ellie, they were kind of the only two leftovers. Jordan's little thing with Tanya didn't kind of end great, and obviously she's not in the villa anymore. And with Ellie, she wasn't really talking to anyone. I think she wanted to get on with Ron, and then he kind of friend zoned her, but yeah, again, she was kind of just left with no one. Jordan and Ellie were dumped from the villa. Olivia said that Ellie's journey was just about to get started, which literally I was saying, the fact that she didn't really have anyone in the villa, but obviously with a new bombshell, or potentially if she was able to go on another date with Jordan maybe, then there could have obviously been something there. And she also went on to say that Jordan was really funny and also really friendly. Ellie also mentioned that she was about to get into something, and Jordan said coming in as a bombshell is not easy, but he feels like he's obviously done quite well, and he did do quite well, solidifying friendships and obviously doing things with 2 or 3 different girls, and he also had his 3 dates at the beginning as well, so he was starting to get to know Olivia, he was starting to get to know Sammy, and he was starting to get to know Tanyel, but obviously none of those went any further. Tom said that Ellie was a classy girl, and some of the things that she said were obviously quite funny. And Ellie basically came out of the villa and said, look, although I didn't find love, I think that both of us have come out here with a good friendship. We've obviously got each other, so they obviously left on friendship terms. And then we found out that Casa Amor was actually going to be starting on Sunday. So I think this is where my reviews are going to get really complicated to review, because there's literally going to be, well, one massive villa, but there's going to be so many different conversations going on. And I might even do a quick review of all the 12 people that come in, who's hot, who's not, who my type would be, do I know any of them, like, and trying to work out who's probably going to try and go with who. So yeah, that is it for Friday's episode. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And until my next review, thank you for watching and goodbye.